Well, I represent a new kind of journalism that has come into India. And wherever there's a new form of journalism that comes, there's always going to be a clash between the way things were and the way things are. The only problem is for some people who don't like my form of journalism is that largely among my peers is that they still belong to the old form of journalism and they don't want to see the change. I saw the change happen around 2007, 8, 9 when I was with Times Now, and I have spearheaded the change, and I refuse to follow the rules set by someone who did journalism 20 years back. Does not mean I disrespect them, but it's just like I'd like to do things my own way.
So but you still call it journalism, the way you do.
Well, I mean, if you say that, the kind of journalism that we have done has broken all the stories that mattered in India over the last 10 years. So if you take those stories out of the Indian social fabric, there would be no big or exclusive stories. So then what is it but not journalism? In fact, I think what others do is not journalism. I feel that is an unverified complaint. In fact, we are the most robust in our criticism of the BJP on issues when it needs to be criticized. Recently, during the Unnao and Kathua rape cases, we tore the ruling dispensations in both the state governments apart. I have broken the only big story after this government was elected, which was Lalit Gate in 2015. And consistently we've been front-footing all stories which require accountability. But Bobby, what I can't do is that I can't do reverse engineering. I don't do journalism where I say, I've got to be anti-BJP, now let me do some reverse engineering and find 10 stories that fill that pattern. Similarly, I don't look at stories, say that, I've got to be anti-Congress or anti-Mahagathbandhan or Third Front, so let me do my journalism that way. It doesn't work for me because I am not in Delhi, so I'm not a player. Those who are the players may look at things that way, but I just do whatever matters every day. It's a damn catchy phrase, I know that. And I think it's very apt in our society because, when I see some current issues, it almost appears to me like members of 4 categories work together. And this should be known among all the viewers of Gulf News and across the country. I haven't spoken about this, but since I met you here in Dubai, let me tell you. You see, it's like they take instructions from a hidden master.
You think so?
Let me explain. Okay. And there are 4 parts of this. Right now, there is a set of politicians. Then there are activists. Then there is lawyers. And then there is media. And either they have extrasensory perception or they work together. And so we must therefore look at the way they respond to issues. In the case of Rohit Vemula, and we've all seen what unrest in university campuses is like, the first category of people who politicians use when they want to create civic strife are students. You've seen it, I've seen it during the Mandal Commission agitation. And hence Hyderabad becomes like a laboratory to create strife and unrest. And we saw what came out this week in the case of Rohit Vemula, political parties offering the victim's mother money. Even the thought of it is bizarre and macabre. It's a form of cannibalism and political vulturism which we cannot accept.
She says they help him.
Whatever. No, may help. It's not a statement on her, but it's a statement on the people who tried to do that. We've also seen what happened at JNU. We've seen the attempt what happened at AMU. We've seen the attempt to support the secessionism of Kashmir from India, right? We've seen the Judge Loya case. In all these cases, the very fundamental basis of either journalism, honest activism, or clear legal, activism would be a respect to the facts. If you disregard all the facts, then you cannot simply say that you're right because you're some kind of a political caucus. I think it is therefore necessary to club these 4 groups together. What I have simply done is that I have said this. You're not a lawyer. No, allow me to complete. I said, you're not a lawyer. You're a member of a gang. You're not an activist. You're a member of a gang. You're not a journalist. You're a member of a gang because you have disrespected your profession in order to suit the narrative of some political master because it cannot be accidental.
Who is that master?
I wouldn't know. But it can't be accidental that all of you follow the line of a set political group. That's it. It's as simple as that. And then the second thing is, there is no course correction. Suppose your facts are proven wrong in case A or case B or case C. None of these people ever come out, Bobby, and they apologize. And I feel it's bizarre that sitting in my country today, any group of people should be talking lies about my country. You see, we are talking in Dubai. Now, if someone is in the UAE, right, there's got to be some sense of loyalty for a UAE resident to the country he lives in. And there has to be some respect for the laws.
So are you saying that these four groups, students, lawyers, journalists, and what is the fourth category?
No, 1 second. Let me explain.
They are not loyal to India?
No, I'm saying there has to be loyalty to India.
Okay.
Now, if you were to go on some Jurassic channel and sit there in London and say, you know what, India is a terrible country. And the person says, why? You say, oh, you know, in India, children read textbooks with Hitler's photograph on it. Because this government feels that Hitler is a great leader. Now, that's complete BS. It's completely untrue. Why are you parading these lies about your country? Whatever, you want to sell a book?
It's a free country. People can say
You
anything.
can say what you want, but the fact of the matter is this, that it is a factually incorrect statement. You say there's no leather industry, there are no handicrafts in our country, you can't eat meat in India because this government won't let you eat meat. They won't let a community do handicrafts, there won't be any leather exports, all of which are factually incorrect. So to respect facts is an essential prerequisite which we cannot say that we can, choose to disrespect. If you're going to judge me by facts, I'm going to judge me by your loyalty to facts. And if you just want to give away any respect for facts, then I'm going to question why you do so. So we are at a right today. We therefore say that you must question the motivations of a group who seem to work as a cabal. Now, this group doesn't like to be described as a cabal, but the fact of the matter is it is. You ask anybody in India today, this group is a cabal. That's a perception of people, they're free to have it. We are the #1 channel in the country, watched by a large number of people every night. They judge us, not some people within the profession who may be unhappy at what we do. I'm not here to satisfy my peers. We are here to take the Indian media forward. No, we are talking about groups. Our audiences watch us all the time. Why would we be the #1 channel, #1 network in India today if we were not watched? We are the most trusted and the most watched channel in the country. And of course, you must also understand this, Bobby, that we represent a change in the Indian media where we have actually grown an organization from scratch. Why did Republic become the #1 channel in the country in week 1? Why did we get 52% market share in week 1? Why are we still getting huge amounts of viewership? Why are we growing every week? Because people like us, people watch us. Again, there is no need for, these are not, we are not doing Venn diagrams here. How does it matter? I just want people to watch me. I have no demography in my mind. I feel that the journalism we do is pure. People should watch us for it. How does it matter which political leader they like or don't like, Bobby? If we were to start doing journalism like that, then what would be the difference between me and other members of the Lutyens media? I'm telling you what I say. I'm sure that, you do know the fact that our organization, our company's name is called Outlier Media. So I like outliers. I like people who do things differently. I've chosen to do things differently.
You like Narendra Modi?
No, I like to do things differently. I don't like any politician, Bobby, in case you're trying to ask me a leading question. I'm not going to give you a headline like that. I have no view of individuals I report on. And that is our badge of honor. That we therefore will question anyone at any point of time on anything. And that's the basis for the launch of Republic.
Fair.
I feel that is such a factually inaccurate question. Because if you were to go and find out, go and do the research, Bobby, and ask yourself, who went after the Sri Ram Sena when they attacked a bunch of young boys and girls who had gone to a pub in Mangalore. Who did the campaign? Question number one. Question number two, Bobby. Find out that this Sri Ram Sena, which is actually what you would call a right-wing organization, though I think they should be called an extremist organization, because the phrase right-wing, as I said, is also often misused. This particular group, the Sri Ram Sena, had all the charges against it cancelled by a political party you call liberal, the Congress party. Point number three, this particular group, whose founder and president is now under the radar, though not charged of course, in the context of the killing of Gauri Lankesh, was campaigning against the BJP and effectively therefore for the Congress party, a party you call liberal, in the last state elections in Karnataka. So who built that narrative? Who fought the right-wing forces? If I throw the question back at you and you will look at it very factually, right? So people who use religion for politics, be they Muslim or Hindu, are not being loyal to their respective religions. They are using politics, they are using religion in a political context which is inappropriate. Therefore, I do not think we are building any narrative. I'll tell you what we are building, Bobby. We are building the right narrative. We are with the people of India who are now asking questions about what is right and wrong, what is corrupt and not corrupt, what is black and white. And these questions are not meant to suit the powers that be. Therefore, the question can be turned around and asked that in 70 years of Indian democracy, you've only seen in the last 10 years effectively a media which has come and has started asking some very straight and direct questions over a period of time. Now, if they did not follow a particular line, that is for the media who did the work before to ask why they did not. Can I ask you a question, Bobby? This liberal media, the sort of pseudo-liberal media which you are talking about, and why did they never report any case of corruption in India after Bofors? Question one. Question two, Bofors brought down a government. Why between Bofors and the CWG scam, which would be an effective period of about 10, 20, at least 20 years, was there no big scam in India? There was so much big ticket corruption. Why was it not spoken about? Was it because the media was the lapdog at that point of time of previous establishments? And can the same media, which never raised questions then, and you will remember that I did plow a very lonely furrow when I broke the many scams between 2010 and 2011. I did plow a very lonely furrow. It was not as if I had the rest of the media with me. In fact, the rest of the media was on the other side, right? Why did they not ask questions then? And now that they did not ask those questions then, how did the same people who were so quiet then suddenly start becoming so active now? These are questions they must ask. That's it. On what basis?
I want to know.
No, I want to know on what.
Prescripted?
I want to know on what basis. Suppose you are interviewing me now, and suppose somebody says, "Oh, you know what? Bobby didn't just walk through the door; it was all prescripted." Well, if you know, in India, you do an interview, you'll ask questions about the economy. I did Pakistan. I did China. I did strategic policy. I did. The problem some people have is that I called him Mr. Prime Minister. The problem that some people have is that I called him Mr. Prime Minister. What should I have called him? If I describe the Prime Minister of the country as the Prime Minister, you would do the same.
Several journalists analyzed your
Which
interview
journalist?
and they said that
Which one of those journalists has ever done an interview that is question? Which one of those journalists has a right to question my interview?
They said that you failed to ask follow-up questions.
Really?
Yeah, those are some things.
As I told you, I'm not here to be judged by my peers. My peers know it. We don't pay anyone to be abused. That's a fallacy. We believe that we have asked some serious questions about Pakistan's role in terrorism. This has been consistent, Bobby, and we are on the side of the Indian Army and the Indian security forces. Everyone knows that. And I'm sorry if it doesn't suit anyone's narrative, but in a choice between India and Pakistan, I will not be neutral.